need Christmas. People need Christmas. People need lots of love and laughter and good cheer. People need people who care about people. People need Christmas every day of the year. A time for taking time to take time for others, for sharing the reason for the season. Singing silent night and stringing up the lights. It's the very, veriest, very, very best time. People need Christmas. People need Christmas. People need lots of love and laughter and good cheer. People need people who care about people. People need Christmas every day of the year. A time for taking time to tell of the Savior, proclaiming the glory of the story. Worshiping our King, rejoicing as we sing. It's the very, veriest, very, very best time. People need Christmas. People need Christmas. People need lots of love and laughter and good cheer. People need people who care about people. People need Christmas every day of the year. People need Christmas. People need people. People need Christmas every day of the year. Christ is born. Christ is born. Come His hope, wrapped in glory. Come fulfilling prophet's story. Lord, Redeemer of all men. Christ is come to conquer sin. Christ is come to conquer sin. He will reign. He will reign. God with man now residing. King and Savior o'er us abiding. Merciful and just is He. Christ will reign in victory. Praise and sing. Praise and sing. Truly the Messiah is worthy of our love and thanksgiving. Holy Lamb forever adored. Praise and sing to Christ the Lord. Praise and sing to Christ the Lord. In excelsis Deo. In excelsis Christ is
So Philippa and Osmond waddled off in search of adventure. No, won't work, will it, Pippa? What woman in her right mind would leave a nice, comfortable environment for a world of unknowns? A world inhabited by cold people, living out cold realities. But surely, Pippa, if she knew she had a caring, compassionate man waiting for her, wouldn't she be willing to take the risk? To step out on that limb for love? Wouldn't she, Pippa? Wouldn't you? Think of it, Pippa. Picture it, if you will. It's dark. The pen is totally quiet. The moon is full and casts its shadow over the sky. Osmond has, unbeknownst to Farmer Brown, cut a hole in the fence. A hole just large enough for the svelte figure of one Philippa Pig. The two move silently so as not to disturb the others. Philippa is shaking violently, afraid of detection, yes, but also afraid of what lies ahead in the foreign world, the world beyond the pen. Osmond, sensing her fear, takes her small hoof in his large one and urges her on. Oh, if only she knew the pain that was to come, the pain of love, the pain of life. Oh, Pippa, how can we stop her? She's doomed. I'm crying over a pig. I'm talking to a pig. I can't go on like this. I simply can't go on like this.
I think she's at it again. I think the great Canadian romance novel, Botswana. Think she'll ever find a good man and get married? Huh. Up there, day after day. For company, she comes down to visit you, an old man. Bless your soul, Robbie. You're a good man, but an old one. Just what do the two of you find to talk about?
You find it hard to believe that an intelligent, attractive young woman enjoys talking with me.
An attractive woman, yes. Too thin for my liking, but attractive in that modern way. There she sits, talking with you. Or worse, walking away on some children's story day after lonely day, when she could be bouncing her own little babies on her knee and keeping house for some respectable, handsome young man.
A husband, you mean? Someone who will love her, take good care of her, forsake all others, and cleave only unto his bride, while she pours her heart and soul into some serious writing, leaving him to fend for himself for a while. Ask Alice. Men like that don't exist.
Say what you will, Mr. Cynic. Take Majoron, God rest his soul. He was a good man. Too high a forehead, maybe, but a good man. That's what a little writer needs, a good man.
Good point, Selma. Unfortunately, good men with high foreheads are in short supply at the moment. So, Robert, does this lonely, ne'er-do-well single woman warrant a cup of cocoa?
Oh, coffee's already made.
You know I can't stomach the stuff, Selma. My constitution is far too frail for such a bitter beverage. Besides, this thin body could use all the calories it can get.
Ha! Now she's talking sense. If she'd eat more starches, some pottage, some potatoes, she'd fill out and look like a A real woman in no time.
Tell Thelma I'll keep that in mind. Oh, Robbie, I almost forgot. This card was in my mailbox this morning. It seems the postie left an oversized package with a certain toy shop owner for safekeeping.
Yes, he did.
Oh, Robbie, do you think... Could it possibly be... I've waited so long.
Drink your cocoa, my dear Alice, and I'll get the package for you.
So what? You think it's from that publisher?
If it is, do you know what this could mean? Why, this could be the break I've been working for. They've already agreed to buy my children's novel, Osmond's Undertaken, so I figured I'd run the first draft of my adult novel past them. Future Quest, the Miranda Fisher story. Today, children's books. Tomorrow, the Nobel Prize for serious literature.
Is he handsome?
No, Selma. Not unless you're a sucker for animal magnetism.
Oh, Mother Pig, you slept your agent.
Scott? For a married man with 2 kids, he's handsome enough.
Oh. What about this publisher? Is he single?
Single? Yes. And even handsome. But alas, his name is Betty.
Here it is. You know, I've been thinking, it's such a nice day. Why don't I close up shop and take you 2 lovely ladies out for lunch?
Bless your soul, Robbie.
Robert Sims, if you don't give me this package right now...
Take it, my dear Alice, and may it hold the desires of your heart.
Thanks for the cocoa, Robbie. Oh, and for your words of encouragement, Selma. I can't bear to open this in front of the 2 of you. I'm afraid Philippa is the only one I can trust with my emotions.
I told you, Robbie, not once, but twice. You don't know how to display the merchandise. Toys on the shelves, fine, but from the rafters, oh, you just don't know.
Selma, when we opened the toy store 40 years ago, your Jerome made me promise to hang toys from the rafters. He said there should be toys as far as the eye could see. Well, it's worked for 40 years, and besides, it made your Jerome happy.
Robbie, my Jerome, God rest his soul, was a yacht. I loved him, Robbie, but he was a yacht. Oh, yes.
I loved him too, Selma.
Oh.
Like a brother. Oh, sorry. I was just straightening up. Merry Christmas. How can I help you?
I'd like to buy a toy.
So what? It looks like we sell Wiener Schnitzel?
No, of course not. Look, I'm in a bit of a hurry.
Yeah,
so-
I'm at your disposal.
Right, what I need is a gift for my daughter. She's having a birthday.
And what age is she turning?
Eh?
Age, how old is she going to be?
Oh, age. Well, I should say she'll be turning... That is, she was born in 19... Look, she's this high, so what would that make her?
This high.
Well, at that height, it's hard to remember exact details. They grow up so quickly. I'd say that'd make her 11 or 12.
Sounds reasonable to me, 11 or 12.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather try the dress shop down the street? You see...
Robbie, what? Now we get another yacht.
No. I just meant that maybe she's at the age where she'd rather have a new dress than a toy.
No, not my George. It's blue jeans, sweatshirt, and a baseball cap. Now,
George? This is a name for a girl.
Oh, Georgette, yes, she often drops in here after school to visit over some of Selma's sugar cookies.
Read it. Read it and weep. I did.
excuse me.
Can you believe it? They told me to stick to writing children's stories. They said, and I quote, Miss Brown, can you believe that, Miss Brown? Miss Brown, the manuscript submitted was not up to the level of excellence we demand for our adult fiction. We do, however, wish you well with your pig stories, end quote. Pig pig stories. Pig stories. I could tell you.
Excuse me.
Who are you?
A paying customer. If Robbie doesn't change his mind.
And I'd like to get this over with, if that's possible.
Oh, I do apologize. Don't mind me. I'll just take my crisis and be on my merry way. You go ahead and get this over with.
Look, I've got an appointment across town. If we can get this done...
Certainly. Now, what is it you wanted exactly?
Baseball glove.
Oi. Oi. Now I put it all.
You want a baseball glove for your daughter, who you think is 11 or 12. Yes, a baseball glove. Aha! Here we are, our finest model. Genuine leather. Why, you'll hardly even have to help her break it in.
Who's got time for games? Anyway, last time my 12-year-old and I played ball together, she threw better than I did. Look, you think you can have this packaged and sent up to my flat?
How long have you lived here?
What? 6, 8 months, I don't know. Antique?
Oh, I guess it would be by now.
How much?
Oh, no. Some things are too valuable to give away. Never mind, sell.
Yeah, okay, look, you think you could have the glove sent up today?
But sure, but what's the rush?
Her birthday is today.
And rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Give ye heed to what we say. Jesus Christ is born today. Man and beast before him bow, and he is in the manger now. Christ is born today. Christ is born today. Good Christian men rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Now ye hear of endless bliss. Jesus Christ was born for this. He has opened heaven's door, and man is blessed forevermore. Christ was born for this. Christ was born for this.
While the shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground, the angel of the Lord came down, and glory shone around, and glory shone around.
And rejoice, good Christian men rejoice. Good Christian men rejoice. Good Christian men rejoice.
All glory be to God on high, and to the young peace. Lord will henceforth from men to men begin and never cease. Begin and never cease.
Rejoice, good Christian men rejoice. Rejoice.
Angels from the realms of glory, bring your flight o'er all the earth. Ye who sang creation's story, now proclaim Messiah's birth. Come and worship Christ, the newborn King. Come and worship Christ, the newborn King. Come and worship Christ, the
Good Christian men rejoice.
Christian men rejoice.
Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice.
So, Georgette, your father's not in then?
No. And it's George.
Oh, yeah, right. So he's...
Not here. Right.
Right. And your mother?
Never been here. They're divorced.
Oh.
What is this, 20 questions?
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I'm sorry. Let's start over. Hi, my name's Alice Brown.
Alice Brown? So, your parents were heartless too, huh?
Let's just say they weren't very imaginative. Look, I came to apologize to your father for some rather rude behavior on my part yesterday. But since he's not here, I think I'll just come back another time.
He could be home. He could be home any time now.
Well, in that case, do you mind if I sit and wait?
I could show you around.
No, I'll just have a seat.
Come on. I'll give you the guided tour.
If you insist.
I do. So there it is. The Fitzgerald Manor in all of its great glory. Architecturally perfect and perfectly boring.
Yes, well, you can tell Laura Ashley's never been here. But it is kind of interesting. All
Cutting edge, clean lines, classic in its severity, modern in its tone. So, what do you think?
me? Well, it's functional. And gray. And modern.
And boring?
Yes, quite boring. But I suppose with your father being an architect, this place could be considered
Boring?
hopelessly.
I like your books.
My books?
Yeah, you know, The Adventures of Tommy the Turtle. Arvin the Aardvark saves the day. Philippa the Pig goes to school.
You read my books.
Well, yeah. When I was a kid.
Oh, years ago, right? Hey, how'd you like your baseball glove?
Fine.
What did everyone else think?
Everyone else who?
The other girls? At your party? Well, surely your father gave you a party for your 12th birthday.
No. Hey, look. I outgrew birthday cakes and candles a long time ago.
So what did the two of you do? A grown-up dinner at a fancy restaurant?
Look, not that it's any of your business. Dad had to work late last night. Robbie took Selma and me out to celebrate.
Robbie? You know Robbie?
Yeah, I hang out at the toy shop after school sometimes. When he came over to drop off my glove, they told me to grab my jacket and follow him.
Always full of surprises. So did you have fun?
Yeah, except this short little fat guy kept pinching my cheeks and saying, "Eat, eat, you're like a bird, you're so thin."
He didn't take you to Barney's. You've been there? That's Robbie's favorite hangout. He always takes me there whenever I get too serious.
Too serious?
Yeah. Robbie has this ability to know when I need a shoulder to cry on. Ever since my dad passed away, Robbie's just been there for me.
Most women think he's sexy.
What? Who, Robbie?
No, my father. What do you think?
Most women, huh? Well, I never really noticed, but I suppose he's all right. Nice features. What?
He liked you too.
Well, whatever do you mean?
It's just that when he came home last night, he said he'd met this intrusive, self-absorbed, and somewhat mentally deficient female at the toy shop. That means he likes you.
Likes me? George, calling someone a stupid, self-centered busybody cannot be considered a positive assessment.
Whatever.
calls me self-absorbed, intrusive, self-absorbed, and mentally deficient. Lives in this monotone mausoleum and calls me stupid. That self-centered, self-involved...
At it again, are we?
Oh, it's you.
Why is it that every time we meet, you're in a frenzy?
Oh, that's just my way, I suppose. You know how we simple, self-absorbed women folk are. Always upset about one thing or another.
If you're through, might I ask why you're standing in my kitchen talking to yourself?
As I told your daughter, I came to apologize for my rude behavior yesterday. But I take it back. You deserve every rude comment any intrusive, self-absorbed, stupid woman ever made to any egotistical, vain, brain trust of a man. And what about your daughter? How dare you leave her alone on her birthday of all days? She needs you more than your buildings and your designs and your business. She loves you, James, more than you'll ever know. Don't break her heart. Jerk! Oh, by the way, I don't think you're the least bit sexy. And the nerve of that man. And I use the term loosely. I've never met anyone so lacking in moral fiber, so lacking in taste. And what kind of a home is that for a 12-year-old girl? Nothing like gray to challenge and motivate a young mind. If you could have seen him, Pippa. There he stood, James Fitzgerald, resplendent in his gray jacket, in his gray apartment. No doubt thinking gray thoughts in that gray little head of his. And such a good-looking little gray head it is, too. Oh, men. Oh, Dad. How did Mom ever find you? Just the right blend of humor and no nonsense. You always had time for your little girl. Remember how we'd sit around the table after dinner? You'd pull out that ancient Bible of yours, and we'd have to sit through you reading a chapter every night. I don't miss your preaching, Daddy, but I sure miss being able to talk to you about life's do's and don'ts, its heartaches, and my lofty ambition to be a writer. And you, Mom, how did you do it? How did you find a man that treated you with respect and tenderness? A man that understood your dreams?
Can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what can I give him? But give him my heart.
Glass darkly, we've been looking at the world. Through a glass darkly, what can we hope to see? All the beauty and the wonder life is meant to be. Through a glass darkly, looking at the world. But love is patient, love is kind, love never fails. Enduring all things and hoping all things, love never fails. Love is, love is, love is, love is, love is, oh love is, love is, love is. In my life I have traveled far over mountains to the fields. I've watched the sun and the stars above. I've counted on the moon. I have spoken with a man's tongue and sung the songs of angels. But all this without love is nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, love never fails. Enduring all things and hoping all things, love never fails. Love is, love is, love is, love is, love is, oh love is, love is, love is. I saw a pearl floating on an emerald sea. Now they're not supposed to float, but it washed right up to me. As if to say I'm a gift, I am yours, I'm free. I was on my knees when I plucked that pearl from the emerald sea. Love is, love is, love is, love is, love is, oh love is, love is, love is. But through a glass darkly, we've been looking at the world. Through a glass darkly, what can we hope to see? All the beauty and the wonder life is meant to be. Through a glass darkly, looking at the world. Through a glass darkly, we've been looking the beauty and the wonder that life is meant to be. Through a glass darkly, looking at the world. Through a glass, through a glass.
Oh, I can't stand it. Is it too horrible? I ruined the ending, didn't I? It's just as bad as the first one. I always ruin the ending when I try to write serious stuff. It's either too sappy or too cold. You know me, maudlin old Alice Brown. Miranda comes across too...
Don't change a thing.
What? What did you say? Oh, say it again, Robbie.
Don't change a thing.
I thought that's what you said. Oh, Robbie, did you really like it?
Don't change a thing, and don't send it to the publisher.
Robbie?
Bobby, what? It's so good, she shouldn't share it.
My dearest Alice, it's a wonderful story.
Yes?
But it's just a story.
But it made you cry. The story made you feel something.
It made me feel for you.
For me? Look, I know the first draft was slop, just like the publisher said. But this is it. This is the best that's in me. It's not autobiographical, Robbie. I'm not about to run off like Miranda did in the story, if that's what you mean.
That's not what I mean. It's just a story because I know the author has never experienced life the way Miranda has. Miranda, fictional as she is, has allowed herself to really live life, to fall in love, allowed herself to feel the joy and the pain. Before you send your manuscript in, why don't you try to experience life for yourself? Miranda can wait. You can't. You've run further than Miranda could ever imagine, Alice. You're still running, aren't you?
Life is a package deal, Alice Brown. If you want to feel joy, you're going to have to feel pain.
You're right. Both of you. I guess I'm so afraid of finding happiness that I run at the first sight of it. It's like I'm so busy dodging rainbows, I never get to see the sun.
Selma, don't you have some stock that needs organizing in the back?
Stock like it's coming up of my ears. Don't you have stock? He says, yeah.
Alice, sit down. Sit, my Alice. Drink this. Now then, what's this really all about?
What's it all about? It's all about me. My life. My lack of life. My mother adored my father, and he loved her with every breath in his body. They got married and had a son. who died at the age of 3. Mom wasn't able to have any more children, so the sun rose and set with me. I was their life. Then Mom got sick, and Mom died. So Dad took over as both father and mother. Everything he did for me. I was the center of his world, and he was the center of mine. My dad died 7 years ago, and I've spent most of that time looking for someone to come somewhere close to the measure of that man. Someone who'd love me with every breath in his body. Someone that I could adore.
Well, Selma would say that you loved your father. He was a good man. He's gone and you miss him. But you must go on, Alice. That's what every father would want their daughter to do.
And what do you say?
I say you're in good company.
What do you mean?
Well, Alice, you're looking for someone to love who will love you back.
Sounds so simple, doesn't it? It's just that every time I get close to someone, they wind up leaving. I watched my father mourn my mother's death for most of my life. I couldn't bear that kind of pain. I just couldn't.
Love isn't simple, is it? Well, maybe it's supposed to be that way. I mean, if love was easy, it wouldn't mean anything. No. Love has to be hard for it to mean something, Alice.
Now you sound just like my father. He used to say, anything worth having is worth fighting for.
Smart man, your father, but he didn't have all the answers, did he?
He never professed to. He used to say, life is a tapestry, a jumble of threads on the back. But turn it over, and you've got those same threads interwoven into a beautiful design. He'd say we shouldn't expect to understand all of life now. But when God was ready, and the time was right, he'd turn over the tapestry. And suddenly the picture would be complete, whole, a pattern out of so much confusion.
What would your father say about you finding someone to love and adore?
That maybe that someone was closer than I thought, and that I should let God do the weaving.
Smart man. Alice, you may never find your young man, but God, the perfect Father, will work in your life making you content, complete. Let God be your fulfillment.
So, are we all talked out? I can come out now?
Yes, Selma. It's single I am and single I'll stay.
Oh,
Hey, maybe you and I could get an apartment together. What do you say?
listen. I don't know about you, but I have some other offers to consider, you know. That Mr. Goldstein down the street has been making fish eyes at me ever since my Jerome passed on. So, who knows?
Why, Selma, you'd take up with someone else after what you had with your Jerome, God rest his soul.
Alice, what I had with my Jerome made me realize that love is so precious a gift. Who am I to waste it? Life is full of hurts, my Alice. But love, oh, love is the balm for any pain. Clear. The trick is, you have to get close enough to put it on the wounds.
And if the wounds run too deep, Selma, what then?
A fragile soul.
Hey. You have to remember I'm old, Georgie Porgy.
My father used to call me that.
He doesn't anymore?
I'm 12 years old, Alice Brown.
My humblest apologies, O aged one. So what does he call you now?
My father?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really. He sort of avoids having to use my name, I think. Because of my mother, I mean.
Was it her name?
No! Like I told you, she just chose it. And that's enough for him.
Does he dislike her that much?
She left him when I was 3 months old. It is much more than dislike her.
How about you? Do you hate her?
Would you?
If I were you mean? Well, yeah. Or maybe no. I'd miss having a mother around, I suppose. But she'd still be my mother. No, I think I'd just feel terribly sad. For myself and for her. Do you ever see her?
My father won't allow it. But she hasn't really made any effort to come see me. And I think I like it that way. But you're right. I don't hate her. Or him.
He's not around much, your father?
Well, you know, he works. There's always the next project and the next deadline. Was your father around much?
When I really needed him, he was there. Except once. I had to write a short story for a grade 11 English assignment. He'd promised to read it over before I'd handed it in. You know, to make sure it was all right.
Yeah?
Well, he never did. He was out helping one of our neighbors. He was always out helping the neighbors. And he got back after I'd already gone to bed. I thought maybe he'd read it over that night and leave it for me on the table in the morning.
And did he?
He never mentioned it. I got an A on my assignment, and I never asked him to read my stories again.
So he never read about Tommy or Arvin or Philippa?
No, he read them. But I never asked him to. Silly, huh?
But he read them. Even though you didn't ask him to. He read them anyway, right?
Yes, George. He read them without me asking him to. I'm terribly sorry. We were just having a bit of fun.
A bit of fun, eh?
Yeah.
So this is what you call fun.
Yeah.
All right, young lady. It's time to go in. You have some studying to do before the night's out. Ms. Brown.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
I'll say goodnight then. Dad? Dad, do you ever wish you weren't so busy?
So busy?
Yeah. Like, if you didn't have to be at work all the time. Don't you ever wish that?
George, you know my job is very demanding. I have deadlines to meet. If I don't, it's goodbye designer house, goodbye designer jeans, goodbye leather baseball gloves.
But sometimes don't you wish
Georgette,
that...
enough, please. I work myself hard to provide all this for you, so if that means I'm not home as often as I'd like, well, then that's the way it's got to be, okay?
But if you could be home more, would you want to be? Home with me, I mean?
What kind of question is that?
You can't even answer me, can you? You don't want to be here with me. Every time you see my face, you think of her, of my mother. I've seen you look at me sometimes. It's like you're looking right through me. I don't need you, you know. I don't need anybody.
George! Georgette! Oh, Georgie. What am I going to do?
You could tell her,
George, you should be in bed.
and you should tell her.
It's too late for games, child. Tell who what?
Alice. You should tell Alice.
Alice. Tell Alice what?
I don't know. Maybe that you think she's nice and you'd like it if we could all be friends.
Oh, yes. Why don't I just call her up right now and invite her over for tea? A woman like that, a woman who knows her mind, who's full of fire and drive, well, she's not the kind of woman a man has just as a friend. It's, past your bedtime. You want me to come up and tuck you in?
Too late for games, Daddy. You haven't tucked me since I was 7. I think you ruined them. Sleep well.
There is no problem too big, God cannot solve it. There is no mountain too tall, He cannot move it. There is no storm too daunting, God cannot calm it. There is no sorrow too deep, He cannot soothe.
sorry to bother you. I couldn't face my apartment, and I saw your light burning.
Come here, Jim. Sit down. How is she?
The doctors told me to go home and get some rest. It's been 3 days and she's still unconscious. I didn't want to leave her, but I guess I was starting to get in her way. If she makes it through this, if she comes to...
When she comes to.
When she comes to. It might be a long road back, but they feel that with time she'll make a full recovery. The doctor said she'd be right back to playing. Oh, Alice. What kind of father am I? I know how to create buildings, whole cities, but I can't give my own daughter what she needs.
And what is that?
My time. My precious time. I get so caught up in steel and mortar, I forget about human beings. I forget about the people I love. Why is it so hard for me just to let her know that I love her?
Robbie says that love is supposed to be hard. That way we appreciate it. Appreciate what we have to give up to get it. And to give it, I suppose. You've given up a lot to love George, haven't you?
What do you mean?
She told me a bit about your wife. Her mother, I mean. That she left and how much that hurt you.
George said that?
George knows that you care, James. She misses you. She wants to be a part of your life. She needs to hear you say that you love her, and that you're going to be there for her.
She's all I've got, Alice. Lost her. The only person in this whole world who's ever loved me. And I might lose her. Why didn't I see what I was doing to her? To myself.
Sometimes it takes a child to show us what love is all about.
Did I forget to say I love you? Did I forget to say I need you? Did I forget to tell you how I feel? And you don't owe me an apology for all of the times that you'd build me up and your patience held, but I'd come crashing. I want you to know I'm sorry if I forgot to say thank you. Did I forget to show I love you? Did I forget to show I need you? Did I forget to tell you how I feel? And you're not to blame for the hurt and shame, for all of the years how you built me up and your patience held, but I'd come crashing. want you to know I'm sorry if I forgot to say what was to me reality turned out to be a fantasy. But you held my heart to break the fall. Through it all. Did I forget to say I love you? Did I forget to say I need you? Did I forget to tell you how I feel? I want you to see that you're the biggest part of me.
Mrs. Stedman, you know, the one with the wooden leg. And her son, the one that wants to be an astronaut. Well, she told me it was a miracle our little Georgette survived. She was the first one there, you know, and she said that her little body was twisted under the car.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, and here's the father. Oh, God is surely watching over you and your little one.
Well, yes, I suppose. Listen, I wanted to thank you for the flowers you sent over to the hospital. George and I thought they were very special. Oh, also, I came over to pick up something for George. You know, something to pass the time while she's at the hospital.
Oh, so she'll be in there for a while then?
A few weeks anyway. Her body will need time to heal, but the doctor said that within time she'd be right back to the way she was before the accident.
Selma, I think there's some stock that needs arranging in the back.
What? More stock? Oi, there's such stock like you've never seen.
Well, I'm sorry, I haven't slept in a few days. I guess it just caught up with me.
You don't have to apologize. You seen Alice lately?
Alice?
Alice.
She's been at the hospital every time I turn around, bringing me coffee, holding George's hand, telling her everything's going to be all right. Yeah, I've seen Alice.
She's a good woman, that Alice Brown.
You sound like George. She said pretty much the same thing before she ran out that night.
She was upset?
Upset? Yes. Yes, she was upset. This little kid, my little girl, tried to tell me something about friendship or love, but I wouldn't listen. She ran out that night because of me. I'm the reason she's in the hospital right now. Me, her father.
Sometimes it takes a child to help us see the truth.
But what do when that's a truth you may not be able to deal with?
Well, what would a child do?
A child, have faith.
Yes. Or ask for help. Sometimes in our old age, we forget that we're not alone.
Robbie, George's mother left me over 11 years ago. I came home one night to find my 3-month-old daughter with the neighbor next door and my dutiful wife gone. I haven't been serious about another woman since. I have no one.
Have I ever told you the story about this little fellow? My wife gave them to me. Yes, James. I had a wife. A few years after we were married, she found a lump.
Cancer?
Yes. 6 weeks later, she was in the hospital. They gave her 3 months. She lasted 2. And 3 days before she died, she presented me with this.
She gave you a toy soldier?
She said she wanted me to keep it always to remind me of how looks can be deceiving.
I don't understand.
When I found out that Helen was going to die, I didn't believe it, and I didn't want anybody else to believe it either. So I went around as if everything was just fine. But in the process, I left Helen alone to deal with pretty much everything. And when she gave me this toy soldier, it made me realize that she was trying to tell me that I wasn't fooling anybody. You see, I looked like I was handling everything, but when the battle came, I was immobilized. I sat beside her bed, and she held me. That night I cried 2 months' worth of tears. 3 days later, she died.
I didn't know.
You see, my whole life, I've been trying to prove to people that I could handle anything. When I was 15, my father died, so I thought I had to be a man, tough. Later, when I had a car, a good-looking wife, my own business, well, when it all came down, I couldn't handle a thing. It was like my little friend here. Every time I moved, I fell flat on my face.
What did you do after your wife died?
Well, some things I'm not too proud of. Then one day, Selma's Jerome called me aside, made me take a look at myself, made me take a look at my life. Well, I still had the car. His business was great, but I was alone. And he knew I wouldn't want to go to synagogue. So he gave me the name of this church he'd heard about.
Church?
That's what I said. I goofed off for a while, and then one night I found myself in front of that church. It looked empty. So I went in, just so I could tell Jerome I'd checked it out. When I got inside, it was so quiet and peaceful. I sat down. I hadn't been in a church for so long, I just felt like sitting there. And before I knew what was happening, I was crying like a baby for Helen, for my father, for myself.
I know how it feels, so then you got it out of your system and got on with your life, dedicated to trying harder and loving more.
No. Then the pastor showed up, and I felt like an idiot with my nose running, and I was a mess.
So then you left and got on with your life.
No. Then we talked. I mean, really talked for about 3 hours, and I told him things I'd never told anyone else, not even Helen. Stuff about my father, and when I told him about Helen's toy soldier, he began to cry.
Okay, so the two of you are blubbering in this church.
That man made me see that even if I don't understand the big picture, God does. He taught me that my eyes should be fixed not on the things that are seen, but on the things that are unseen. For what is seen passes away, and what is unseen lasts forever. He also told me something about architecture.
This I gotta hear.
He talked about God being the creator, and even though mankind chose not to follow the way he had planned for them, but to go their own way, he didn't destroy his plan. Instead, he designed a bridge, a way for people to better relate with him.
A bridge?
A mediator, if you will. Jesus Christ, his son. You know the Christmas story? Came to earth as a baby, lived here for 33 years, and then and then died alone on a cross.
That's supposed to help me better relate to God, the Creator? Someone who would allow his own son to live half a life and then die humiliated.
It's not his death that creates the bridge. It's his triumph over death. Christ rose 3 days later to let us know that the power of God's love is the greatest power of all. Here.
What's this?
A book the pastor gave me that night.
This is your Bible. I can't take this.
It helped me realize that everything we see in this world is just a dim reflection. And that one day we will fully understand God's plan. And all the pieces will fit together. Take it from one toy soldier.
You two are done? You think I could get some help back here?
Coming, Selma, coming. Give my love to your little one.
I will, and thanks for everything.
I was a seeker for light in a dark world. I looked for truth, but settled for lies. I had been blinded. I couldn't see till a star in Bethlehem sky opened my eyes. I have seen the light shining in the darkness, bursting through the shadows, delivering the dawn. I have seen the light, whose holy name is Jesus. His kingdom is forever. He reigns on heaven's throne. There in a manger, an innocent baby, who could believe he was the one? I can believe it. I know it's true. He changed my life. He is alive. He is God's son. He is God's son. I have seen the light shining in the darkness, bursting through the shadows, delivering the dawn.
So she's home safe and sound.
Yep, safe and sound.
Like I said, if you need anyone to drive her to physio or...
Just give you a call.
Just give me a call. Well, I should be going.
You can't stay? I know George would love to see you. You've been a great friend to George. And to me.
I'd love to stay. So where is she?
I asked her to invite a few friends over. Seems I owed my little girl a birthday party. There in the den.
You bought her a cake and candles.
Want to help me take it in?
Just try and stop me.
I wouldn't dream of it. Say, you know anything about toy soldiers?
Toy soldiers?
No? Well, have I got a story for you?
There's a feeling of excitement in the air tonight. It's a time of celebration everywhere. You can hear it in the music, you can see it in the lights. It's a feeling that we just can't help but share. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, spread the tidings all around. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, in a happy, joyous sound. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a happy New Year too.
With love we are sending this holiday blessing.
From all of us just for you. With the smell of cookies baking and the jingle bells, we know that Christmas can't be far away. As we share this time together and the joyful music swells, there is something that we really like to say. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, spread the tidings all around. Merry Christmas, in a happy, joyous sound. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a happy New Year too.
With love we are sending this holiday blessing.
From all of us just for you, the joy and the laughter are ringing in every Christmas song. This is the season of singing, come on and sing along. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, spread the tidings all around. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, give a happy, joyous song. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a happy New Year too. With love we are sending this holiday blessing. From all of us just for you. With love we are sending this